Welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about how you can accomplish transitions like using waves. This is a nice way to keep the different transitions between different sections. It breaks the monotony of having a flat design, and it helps make the site look more professional and more customized. So how do you do this? So this is the web is all rectangular. Whenever you hover on anything, everything is rectangular. So how do we do this? Well, the magic lies with the SVGs. So that's called the scalable vector graphics. So they're regular elements actually. So if you go to the add elements, so there's like this SVG section, and that's basically how we're going to be doing that. So in order to get started, let's just roll back all our changes over here. All right. So this is what we started with. It's a flat design. So now we're going to be doing this wave-like clipping. All right. So in order to do that, let's add an SVG. The question is where are we going to be adding it? So we're going to add it under the header. So if you look at the element tree, this is the section that we want to clip. So this section that we want to add. So this is the one that's going to be having the clip path, and the SVG belongs underneath that. It just makes it really neat. But we don't want it to impact the layout, so that's why we're going to be changing the position to be absolute here and top left so that it's not going to be impacting the layout in any way. All right, now that we have the SVG, if you look at the SVG settings, we have a couple of options here. One of them is blobs, so we actually showed that in a different video. So for this one, we're going to be doing waves. So this is a wave generator tool. It's a really cool tool, external getwaves.io. So we're going to be, we need to do it like upside down for this purpose. You can usually keep the, the number of angles at this level. If you want, you can adjust it as you wish, but the defaults are usually fine. And then you can click on this to find something, some pattern that you like eventually. It just comes up with different patterns. All right, so let's go with this. So once you find something that you like, you click on this button, and it shows you the code. You copy the SVG code, then you come back to WebDigital, you import the SVG. So we paste the SVG, import, and there you go. So now we have our the Wave SVG. This is the core of this project. All right. So how do we actually get this to be used to clip this section? So in order to do that, we're going to be using clip path. So if you look at the let's look at the header block over here and the styles under the effects. So we have this option here, clip type, and so this is you can set this to SVG, but it accepts the clip path elements. So that's why sorry, clip path elements. So that's why we're not seeing anything right now. Under the SVG, we currently have one path that's generated by the tool. So now we actually need to wrap this in SVG clip path. All right. And then once we do that, we can now come back to the header and update the clip path to be that. All right. So now we can see it starting to happen, but this is far from what we want. It needs to be, first of all, responsive, and then it needs to come down quite a bit. And so we're going to be accomplishing that using object bounding box. That also makes it possible to for this design to be responsive. So how do we do that? So first of all, we're going to be going to the element tree again. The clip path itself has to be object bounding box. So that temporarily takes it out, not a problem, because the path has to be object bounding box as well. And finally, the scale width is the most important part. So the SVG itself was generated by the tool at 1440 at the view box width. So that's the object bounding box that we want. So let's come over here to the path, and for the object bounding box scale width, we're going to be entering 1440. All right. So that makes it responsive, as you can see, but that's still not enough. So we actually have to push it down a little bit. So for this one, we're going to be using transform. The transform type is going to be Y. So this is for the object bounding box. We're going to be padding it by about 80% or so. And you can just eye this any way that you want. Typically, 80% produces a good result. All right, so now we actually have roughly working. The only problem is that this still is not a smooth transition. So in order to do that, we're just going to be wrapping this in a block simply. So let's name this header as wave header. And then we're going to be wrapping this in a block. And for this one, let's call this the new header. All right. So now, if you look at the background of this other section over here, we can come over to the new header and we can go to the background and paste that. And there you go. So now this basically makes it possible for us to build this transition. So, and it's completely responsive. You can see in tablet view, mobile landscape, um, it's all adjusting perfectly. All right, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching.